Last month, firefighter Billy Moon died during a training accident at his Brooklyn firehouse, leaving a wife and 2 young children behind. And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process. And joining us tonight is Christina Moon and LiveOnNY, who is the CEO of LiveOn New York. It's an organ donation advocacy group. Thank you both for being here tonight.
Hi.
Christina, we'll start with you. I would imagine, as the wife of a firefighter, when the 911 calls come in, you expect that they're going to be in perilous situations. But a day at a training exercise, that probably wasn't the day that you thought that would be the last time that you would talk to your husband.
No, and I'm fortunate that we spoke often, and we always left the house with "Be safe, I love you." And he unfortunately, that day was the day that I got the phone call, and was raced to the hospital to see him.
You mentioned in a video to the FDNY, which put me in tears, but you were talking about the hard conversations that you and Billy had throughout the course of your marriage about what would happen in the event that he didn't come home. Talk to us a little bit about those conversations, because I think they're so important for people to hear that these aren't comfortable conversations, but they're important conversations.
Yeah, I keep saying we had the hard conversations, and it may have been in a joking manner once in a while, but we really wanted to make sure the other one knew what each other's wishes were and what was important to know. And God forbid we were put in that situation. I knew what he wanted to do and how he wanted to keep helping other people. So we made sure to have them, and he even had them with other people, with friends and family. And he was adamant about it, and it made it important that I knew that, and helped me in making decisions at the hospital, because he really made those decisions for me.
Yeah, so you were able to go into the hospital with some sort of clarity about he would want. You weren't left guessing.
Right. All right, I was able to I was confident in my, conversations with the hospital when things were not looking good and were not on the upswing like we were hoping they would. I was able to really let them know what he wanted, and I knew that from the start. It wasn't even a question.
We have talked about the fact that 5 lives were saved, also right before Christmas.
Yeah.
So that gift of being able to give those 5 families the chance to be with their loved one, what organs was Billy able to donate?
He donated his heart, his lungs, his kidneys, and his liver. And so it helped 5 people.
Wow.
And 2 of them were New York City firemen. And I hear that Terrence Jordan and Patrick Reynolds are really doing so much better because of those Christmas gifts. So it really makes me feel good. It makes my kids feel good too.
Absolutely. LiveOnNY, when you hear that 5 people's lives were saved, I mean, this is what you advocate for.
Absolutely. And, Billy Moon was a registered donor. As Christina said, he made that decision early. They had the tough conversation. It helped her through that process. And Billy Moon's an organ donor hero. Christina and the family are as well. They saved 5 people, 3 in New York, 2 in Pennsylvania, between the ages of 64 and 70 years old. And we're forever grateful for that.
And tell us how common is organ donation?
Sure. So in New York, we have increased at about 30% over the last year. A very generous New York community. There are still 9,000 people in New York who woke up this morning who are on that transplant wait list. So we need more of it. In a unique circumstance, Billy was a registered donor. In our New York metropolitan region, only about 20% of our donors are registered. Otherwise, the family makes that decision for them.
Wow.
So right there, it's such a unique circumstance where they were able to have this conversation, and that happens 20% of the time. We need to increase that. People need to become organ donors. You see the beautiful gift and miracle that came from it. 2 firefighters, 3 people that were strangers, 2 out of state, who were able to receive these gifts, who could now live on, so that Billy Moon could live on.
Yeah, and I wonder why people don't talk about that more, what a gift organ donation really can be.
Yeah, thanks to Christina's advocacy, the families, the FDNY, yourself, the sentiment's increasing. And again, we increased 30%. We've, New York had the most amount of organ donors, so Billy joined 478 other organ donors this year. Also, like Detective Mora, Firefighter Gerhardt, who was a tissue donor, others that were public, but 478 individuals made that decision. Either the families did, or like Billy, they made that decision to give that gift to others who were in need, and those people are alive as a result of it today, and we're thankful.
As we go to break, please let us know what the website is that people can go to.
Sure, please go to www.liveonny.org and hit Become an Organ Donor, and it'll take you a minute to save lots of lives, so thank you.
Christina, LiveOnNY, thank you for being with us tonight.
Christina.
We appreciate it. All right, Nick, is